so you might be traveling soon, sometime very, very soon. And the thing about traveling is those damn roaming fees. What to do?
Gosh darn roaming fees, I call them.
Well, I think you should try Saley. It's an eSIM. A lot of people don't know what that is. Most people, when they think SIM card, they think little card that you insert in your phone. But Jesse, those SIM card things are kind of like a thing of the past, right?
Yeah, most phones now have eSIMs.
And that's what Saley is. You download an app, you pick what part of the world you're going to. Literally, it'll be like popular destinations, France, UK, USA, whatever. And then it's got plans for each area. And there's 200 different destinations that are covered here. That's more than there are countries on the earth. But,
That's so many countries.
So many countries. And this is what I'm saying. So we want to give you a 15% discount whenever you decide to go traveling. The promo code is Dangle. Now, if you just want to go old school website, you can go to saley.com/dangle. But if you download the app, it's a lot easier. Then it's right on your phone. And it's backed by Nord Security, too. So you know everything that you're doing is encrypted. You're not in that weird Wi-Fi space where you feel like somebody's going to be stealing your data. And use that promo code Dangle at checkout. You get 15% off exclusive Dangle discount, 15% off. Use that promo code Dangle. Download the Saley app, SAILY. Let's start the show.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
If I were Ron McLean, I would say we're dangling a discount.
That's much better.
You see, I gotta, should have thought about that beforehand. Welcome to day 5 of the playoffs. If you feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose, you're not the only one. Not a lot of sleep to be had, a lot of incredible games, a lot of overtime, and a whole lot of 1-1s, except for a couple of series. One is surprising that it's 2-0. One is surprising that it is not. What's the matter? Why are you so sad?
Oh, I didn't watch any of it.
You didn't watch any of the hockey?
No. When the team I cheer for loses, I just cry all spring and self-flagellate like Silas from the Da Vinci Code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
I don't watch. And if I do watch, I sure as hell don't get excited about it.
If you don't know what Steve's talking about, there was some Leaf fans who got their underwear in a twist about the fact that Steve is streaming Montreal games, ignoring the fact that this is what we've done for years. If we only did Leafs, we would be wrapping up our content at the end of April every year. So yeah. It's kind of, I found that, I was like, oh, really? All right. I guess because you cheered when Montreal scored, but you also yell and cheer when Tampa scores.
Yeah. And you'd know that if your criticism was coming from a legitimate place.
Yeah.
It's not.
They're just bored.
This happened 5 years ago when I streamed a Habs series. I've hit bigger icebergs than you. And here I am. I don't care.
Jesse, are you personally offended that Steve would watch another hockey team live on a stream?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me why. Where does it get you?
Because he's Leafs man and he can only do Leafs.
That's right. Now, listen. If Steve was Slivkovsky, would Leafs Twitter have been Brandon Hagel yesterday with a big smack to the jaw?
Brandon friggin' Hagel.
I know we started with this series.
Friggin' Hagel.
I know we started with this series last episode, but it was kind of the best game last night. We kind of have to start with it again.
Well, let me think.
It was the best game.
Yeah.
It was the best game.
Yeah, it was.
It was. And I want to bring up, Jess, if we can bring up just a thing of that fight. Brandon Hagel, by the way, almost a Leaf. It would have been Matthew Nyes and a couple of firsts for Fleury and Hagel. And I do feel like it would have been cool. Would have been pretty cool.
Can we just talk about, like, okay, there's a lot of teams out there looking for executives right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are looking for experience. Experience meaning people who worked in the NHL. Brandon Hagel's on his 3rd NHL organization.
He started in Buffalo, right?
Buffalo, Chicago, now here.
Wow.
Not everyone working in the NHL is brilliant. Mm-hmm. And not everyone working in the NHL is the greatest evaluator of future NHL talent. 2 teams missed out on Brandon Hagel. And the reason that supposedly the Leafs missed out on him is Shanahan didn't know who he was.
No, he said, who the F is Hagel. And he said, no, we're keeping Nyes.
He's just on the Canadian Olympic team there, Shanny.
Look at this hit. Now, Slav got a few hits in on Hagel first.
Yes.
It's worth mentioning. And there is a size differential here. But Hagel tuned him with a right to the jaw. And you could see Slav kind of touching his mouth afterwards.
I was amazed Slivkovsky stayed in the game and remained effective.
He got right up.
He got right up, but like Slav knocks him down. Then he hits him with the too little, which is a hilarious celly for a tiny guy. He's not even tiny.
No, he's a Slav tiny.
I want to say he's like 6 foot something. But yeah, he's definitely smaller than Slav. And then he does the sleep thing in the box. And he scored the opening goal. He's everything you want in a hockey player. Brandon friggin' Hagel. 2 teams traded him, or I don't even think the Sabres qualified him.
I don't know.
And then the Leafs passed on him. You've got to be joking. You know what? Passing on Brandon Hagel did way more damage to the Leafs than me getting excited about an OT winner ever will.
There you go. Now, I'm looking at this, Jesse, and what I saw in that first period was exactly what John Cooper outlined as the problem in the first game. So Tampa goes up 1-0. They've got all the momentum, and they're about to get another power play. And then Kucherov takes an interference call, and then there's a scrum, and then Tampa takes another penalty in that scrum.
Perry takes his gloves off.
Yeah.
Like, these are veteran players making really dumb mistakes.
And so all of a sudden Montreal's on a power play, and it sort of kills the Tampa momentum. And I know they won last night, but I just want to talk about those penalties, and then I want to get to the penalties with Scott Sabrin as well, Jess, because 2 minutes to go, Scott Sabrin's on the ice, which is crazy.
I cannot believe he was in that game.
And he takes a cheap shot interference behind from takes it out on Josh Anderson. Yeah. Now Tampa killed that penalty, but John said, Jesse, did he not? 4 or 5 offensive zone penalties in the first game killed them. It almost killed them here.
Yeah, like they should have lost that game a number of times, but thank goodness they have a good penalty kill and they're able to kill off that for Scott Sabrin. But like the Lane Hudson power play goal that tied it up 1-1, like, yeah, that's a mistake that you shouldn't be making if you're Tampa. And they're trying to play on the edge. Like, I get the idea of what they're trying to do, but if the refs are calling what they're calling and they're not letting you get away with everything, there's a point where you have to readjust. And that's on John Cooper too, not playing Scott Sabrin out there at those times. But then it's on the veterans like Kucherov, and you can't be interfering with guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them off the hook. Like, I think it was, if any team should know where the line is by now, it's that core group. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing about the edge there. Like, there was a clear interference from Kucherov, and you can, gloves on, do basically whatever you want in the playoffs. The second you take your gloves off, you get into trouble. And that's what Perry did.
So I'm looking at this, guys, and I'm thinking, why is Tampa taking these penalties? And then I kind of thought this, and I don't know if this is conspiracy. I feel like every series has its level of hatred, and they're all different, right? We'll talk about Edmonton, Anaheim later. It was all like glitter and fireworks. There was no toughness in that game, really.
Game 1.
Exactly. But some teams hate each other right off the bat. Montreal, Tampa were a little bit more hateful right off the bat. I look at this game and I go, Tampa's used to playing like a Panthers style.
Yeah.
And that's why Montreal doesn't do that. They don't need to do that.
Not being the aggressor either.
Right. Getting dragged in rather than dragging.
Getting dragged in or defending yourself, which I don't know if you could call them the aggressor in terms of like toughness, tit for tat. This is maybe closer to the 2 series the Lightning played with the Leafs in 22 and in 23, where it was usually the Lightning dragging the Leafs into the fight. Usually, not always. It's violent. What this does remind me of, and again, I'm sorry to go back to the Leafs, is I think this was 2019 Leafs Bruins. Leafs beat the Bruins, game 1. Game 2 was a frigging carnival. An absolute carnival, because the Bruins went, oh, we were just sort of playing hockey in game 1.
Yep.
Well, let's abandon that.
Yep.
Not saying Lightning didn't play great hockey, but they turned it into a physical carnival. And that's kind of what Tampa did.
Do you think, and this is what I want to ask both of you, do you think Tampa is able to actually get a control on this on game 3? Because it is like they snuck away with one. Vasilevsky was amazing last night. If you even look at something basic like the deserve to win a meter, outside of overtime, that's a Montreal dominated game.
And then when the game got its tightest in overtime. Tampa ended the game before Montreal got a shot.
Yeah, so the shots were 9-0, the slot shots were 5-0, the turnover chances for Tampa were 5-0, and obviously they scored. That's from Mike Kelly.
Listen, the best, oh my God, that's awful. Oh my God.
You know what that reminds me of?
Seeing the numbers written down like that.
That reminds me of the overtime game the Leafs lost but dominated against the Canadiens.
13-2, they outshot them, and Travis Dermott had to do a spinorama.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know. This seems like this series we thought was going to be great. It seems like it's going to be phenomenal.
It's a long series. It's a long series. Tampa with Corey Perry in 2022 gets their ass kicked by the Leafs in game 1. It's 5-0. And at the end of game 1, what's Perry doing? Smiling. Having a great time. Because it's a long series and Tampa came out with the win there. You could look at it as a missed opportunity for Montreal, who had an opportunity to go up 2-0. It's positive that you took one in Tampa. 1-1 is not a bad result there, but they're in a tricky spot. Last year was house money. Like, I got a text during the stream from a Habs fan who was like, "Oh, last year was great. This is awful."
Ah, yes. I remember that feeling.
Because there's expectations now. And again, not to make everything about the Leafs, but what you don't want to get into is what they got into, which is 2017. You have a good showing and you lose to the Capitals, as a matter of fact. Zoot. And that was game 6, I believe. Lots of parallels.
Yeah.
Very young team. Next year, you lose in the first round again.
But it's game 7 and it's Boston.
But it's game 7. It's Boston. You came back from 3-1. You did have the lead going into the third, but okay. I guess I can tolerate it. 2019, it was like, you blew it. You blew it. And those losses start to stack up. So yes, there's still a team learning, but in terms of what this team is going to be going forward, this series is extremely important.
But I would say, Jesse, the other side of that is Tampa at a certain point, not yet, but at a certain point, this is going to be over. Like they're aging up, right?
You mean like their window?
Their window.
Contention?
Yeah, with this group. And Kucherov is still Kucherov, and Hagel is still Hagel, and Point's still Point. But, Hedman's not playing, and you got significant injuries to all of them in the last 18 months. I think with the exception of Kucherov. He's been the healthy one.
Well, even like Vasilevsky's, like, he's taken a few punches at this point.
And he's had surgeries. And
Kucherov with his first playoff goal in 16 games?
That's crazy.
That seems impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just look at this and I go, I actually think the pressure, if you're worried about pressure, I think it's on Tampa. This is going to be, maybe there's 2 more years after this. Or maybe I get Tom Brady'd by on First Take. Remember? And they're like, yeah, Tom Brady's done. And then he went and won 3 more Super Bowls.
Tampa.
But it is like, the odds are they got to do this. Do they not, Jess?
Yeah, because if you look at their playoff record, it's 3 years now not getting out of the first round. So this would be 4 consecutive seasons not getting out of the first round. It's the pressure is mounting, but I think there's enough pieces there, and I think Julien Brisebois smart where they're not going to tear it down. Maybe it's a retool eventually, but there's so much good talent. Like Nikita Kucherov's still in the running for the Hart Trophy every year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're on their way down. They're not at their peak, but they've leveled off to a new area where it's every year we can fight for the top of the Atlantic, and maybe we're not the cup favorites when the playoffs start each time, and we're not going on deep runs every year, but it's not like they're not competitive.
No, agree.
But they're not up there with Colorado. There's a step tier below the really top teams, and then Tampa.
And they might lose Darren Radish this summer. They'll just find the next Darren Radish.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Like, someone sent me a message. They're like, you're always talking about the Bruins doing such a good job finding Bruins. The Lightning do an unbelievable job finding Lightning. There's so many guys in that roster where I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
The overtime winner was scored by JJ Moser.
Who was the Sergachev return, right?
That they found a new one. He's 25. He'll be there for a while.
I was telling you guys he was good the day he was traded.
You were right. But he was saying that he was having trouble scoring goals.
He was.
That was an unbelievable shot. I
That was a fantastic goal.
I don't know if you guys saw after, but when Tampa were celebrating, first off, that place just rocks when it's when they're celebrating. It's so loud. But Dobish, I felt like he must have had eyes on it. Like it looked like he had the right angle, and it was just a great shot. But watching them skate off, you could see him even before he leaves the ice. He's kind of like, what just happened? He looked back up at the scoreboard to watch how that went in, because I think he was even confused by it. And I don't know what was so tricky about that shot other than it was well placed.
Well, it's a young goalie. I keep forgetting he was only drafted in 2020. But also, like, we grew up with the narrative that, like, elite goalies, if they can see it, they're going to stop it. Says who? It's 2026. Goalies get beat straight up by shooters. Shooters are crazy. Their sticks are made of basically rubber. Like it's different than it used to be, and everyone can rip it, even the guys who can't score.
Yeah.
Simone Benoit had a OT winner last year. Like, did we forget that?
Yes. Yeah. Jess, what do you have on your screen there?
I was just looking at some of the guys out for the Lightning. Like there's Hedman, 35. He's out. He's not there. But Vasilevsky, who's in there, 31. I'm looking at their window and the ages. Kucherov's still 32. Gensel's 31. Cirelli's 28. Point is 30. These guys are actually a little younger than we think they are because they've been in our lives for so long. Hagel's 27. It feels like Hagel is 42 and has been around this league so many times. But I don't know. I think they're younger than we think they are, and this window isn't going to close immediately on their kicks at the can for going on deep playoff runs.
And, like, I'm pretty sure Vasilevsky is as old as Sergei Bobrovsky was when he signed in Florida.
Yeah, Bobrovsky's like, 40 now, you know?
Yeah.
And look at all he did from 30 to 40.
Oh, he's finished, and his groin. And listen, there were a few bad years there at the beginning. And then he just aged like friggin' whiskey.
Yeah, he was amazing. Listen, Mother's Day is coming up. I'm just throwing that out there. Mother's Day is coming up. You might want to order this right now. We want you to get an Aura frame for your mother. How did your mother react, Steve, when you got that?
She was chuffed. Tina loved it.
She did. Now, what picture or video did you upload through the Aura Frames app? By the way, unlimited storage, and no subscription fee to do that. That she loved the most.
Any photo of her with the children. None of her son, because who cares about that guy anymore? Grandkids are in the picture.
That's right. Now, they were named #1 by Wirecutter. You can save on gifts for your mom by visiting auraframes.ca, AURA frames.ca. Now, for a limited time, listeners of the Steve Dangle Podcast can get $25 off their best-selling Carver mat frame with the code STP. Jesse, you've tried this frame out. What did you think?
Yeah, I've actually pulled up the Aura Frame app right now because I gave the Aura Frame over Christmas to my mother-in-law, my partner's mom, and I like to just throw pictures of Waffles up. So I've highlighted a picture of my dog Waffles. I'm going to hit show now, and hopefully that just popped up on her Aura Frame.
So you can do that at any time.
Yeah. So you can go to the app. Oh yeah, photo sent to her name, her Aura Frame, and it should be on there right now. Yes, it's so awesome.
You can actually like leave messages for people because it does take video too. So you could just put a video, go, hello, just yelling in the house, hello.
In theory, you could just put up a picture that says "you smell."
You could do anything you want,
or "I love you."
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
I also did the thing where I loaded it in photos that I knew she would like, which are all pictures of the dog.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Now, Aura, AURA frames.ca, auraframes.ca, promo code STP. That's going to get you $25 off the best-selling Carver mat frame. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. I want to move on to the Ottawa-Carolina game, because all I could think when I started my stream a couple of nights ago for the Oilers was that, man, Jesse gets all the long overtimes. If you guys remember, Jesse was doing the Blue Jays, and he did the 18 inning. What was it? 6 hours and 57 minutes?
Yeah, I was upset at the end of it because I was like, I could have just filibustered for 3 more minutes and I would have had a 7-hour stream, but just short of 7 hours.
And that is a company record that I sincerely hope is never broken.
Yeah, we'd have to go like 3 OT to get
at least
3 OT probably wouldn't even get you there.
Well, because you went 416.
Yeah, and that's 2 OT. 3 OT wouldn't get you there.
There was one 4 OT game I can remember somewhat recently, right? Wasn't there?
Well, there was 5 OT, Tampa and Columbus in 2020.
Okay. So that would be probably the closest Jesse could have gotten if he got a game like that.
It'd have to be baseball again.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if hockey, like, unless we're getting 5-6 OTs, but like a hockey game's 2.5 hours, and if you do 2 of them, you're still not there.
You'd have to break the actual record.
Yeah.
It's intense. But listen, this was a game that it didn't look good for Ottawa. Let's be honest. I mean, Carolina goes up 2-0, and Ottawa finally breaks the Freddie Anderson dam. And
which is just an insane sentence in the year of our Lord.
I know.
2026.
And listen, you guys know I'm not big on playoff Freddie, but he was great in this game.
Oh, yeah.
He was outstanding. And so was Linus Ullmark. And I wonder if Ottawa feels like they, just watching the game up close, Linus, that's the best I've ever seen him in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Like, that's his best
really
playoff
good game. Ottawa had a ton of chances in that first period, though. They should have scored. It could have been 4-1 by the end of, I think, like the middle of the second period, because there was a couple that Freddie just stole off the line. Unbelievable 10 bell saves by Freddie there. And then there's a Stützle play where he had a wide open cage and he just couldn't get the puck out of his feet, and he couldn't get that one. And then there was a Brady Tkachuk one that he just missed.
Stützle should have like 5 goals.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And the Sens, like, that's a game they should have had because of those opportunities. And then they fight their way back and they're still in it. And then I don't know when you want to address the OT.
I've got them there. I was going to ask you about Brady first, but let's do the OT first, then we'll talk Brady.
Okay.
So should we look at the OT goal that was called back?
It's a great goal.
8:18 of the highlight pack there. This is a great goal that is called back. And what is crazy about this, and this is where I feel like, and I was on a stream, so I didn't see this live, but as a Leaf fan, I would have been like, if this happened to us, I'd be like, we're cursed.
Oh my God. Is this, it was we're cursed, but by the end of it, Adam, is that the best value NHL ticket ever?
Carolina?
No, that game specifically. You paid for one playoff ticket and you got to see your team win a playoff game in overtime twice.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Twice in one night, unless you left, in which case that sucks.
I will never.
There was a lot of people who did leave the arena once the goal was scored, and they weren't allowed back in.
Oh,
that's so crap.
Yeah.
No, but you can't. That's an insurance issue. You can't do that. Yeah.
Such BS. Like,
Yeah,
they're not
it was
leaving
really
for
unfortunate.
a smoke.
Also, why are you leaving?
They thought the game
thought
was
it was over.
Then
They
celebrate.
thought the goal was scored, and then they went to the parking lot.
You need to beat traffic that bad?
Well,
Save yourself 50. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. People that leave games early ever, even if it's 6-0 and the Leafs are getting hammered, I stay to the end. Why? Because who fucking, I paid for this ticket. I want to celebrate.
so you need to beat traffic that bad. Adam, the answer is yes. It is. And from experience, this was my dad, who was like Megatron commuter when he was working. We were at a game. It was the last game I ever saw at the Garden, the Leafs Lightning, back when the Lightning wore black, and crazy comeback game. It was awesome. And before overtime began, he goes, "Do you want to go?" And I think I was 10 years old. I go, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right." Like, this is like dad lost all authority.
Does beating traffic beat the feeling of celebrating an overtime goal?
No, but then the second the Leafs scored, it was like, okay, bye.
Wow.
Like, he just yoinked me and we left the building. That goal could have got called back. I don't know. But it's probably a lot of parents going, all right, it's time for bed.
And I don't know what it's like in Raleigh to I've never been in the arena, so I don't know what it's like.
No idea.
But even so, I don't know. It's a playoff game. Just be late.
It's also the NHL today. Just stay and make sure.
Yeah, 100%. So this goal it's so crazy because this name is going to
The one that didn't count?
The one that didn't count. I've got it there for you.
Okay.
So Jesse, can you run us through what happens here? Because this is first OT1, right?
Yeah.
And the Senators are running around a little bit on their own end.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So I can just explain the play because we can't do a stop and start with the highlights.
Oh, okay.
We'll get flagged for that stuff. But Jordan Martin comes in on the play. Warren Foegele hacks him, and they call a penalty there. So there's a delayed penalty. Carolina controls the play really well. They're able to pull Freddie extra attacker out, and then they have a rebound that Allmark's not able to get. It's a nice it was a nice shot. I think it was Aho or Jarvis who shot it, created that rebound. They get the empty cage on the rebound, score a goal. And then we have an offside challenge by Ottawa, because why not just burn it and try it? It's close at the line.
And it's offside.
Let's bring that up. That we can show here, just the line here. Jordan Staal at the line. And this is where we get into...
This is weird.
The ridiculousness of the NHL rulebook, because you have to have possession and control to come in offside. I'll pull up Friedman's tweet here, because he had the explanation from the Situation Room.
It's such semantics.
It is so much semantics.
Like, because I was watching it and I wasn't even paying attention to the control. I was just looking at whoever the other player was. I'm like, oh, it's clearly onside. Game over. That's it. Hooray. It's done. Let's all go to bed.
So what happens here? I don't understand this.
So here's Jordan Staal coming in offside. I was going to say coming in onside, but he was in the play in the moment. We all thought he was onside, but he comes in offside because video review, this Elliot Friedman tweeted this out. Video review indicated Jordan Staal had possession, but not control when his skates went over the blue line. So what's
the difference?
In essence, moved himself offside by not having control of the puck when he comes over. But possession is, so I was like, okay, what does that mean? Yeah, I had the same question. Try to do some due diligence, turn on 32 Thoughts, and hopefully Elliot has an explanation during this part of the game. And he does address this directly. He says, possession and control are two different things. You can look it up at various points in the rulebook. Possession is the last person or team to touch the puck. So we can say possession is Carolina has the puck. It doesn't matter about the puck area. Whoever touched it last, they have possession.
That could be 5 feet away from Staal, and it would still be possession Carolina.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
if this were a video game, he would be lit up.
yeah, exactly.
Sure. And he says, he goes on to say, clearly Jordan Staal was the last person to touch the puck. Carolina has control. Control is, do you do something with it that shows you have control of it? And I guess they felt that he had the bobble just as he went over the line, the slight bobble, and that meant he didn't have control, and they blew it dead.
Now, let me say this.
Which I think is a wrong interpretation by the NHL Situation Room.
I agree, because I see this. We see this every game.
Yes.
There was a famous example of this. I think I want to say it was the 2022 Western Conference
McDavid.
Final. No, wasn't it Makar? Or maybe it was McDavid.
I think Makar had one as well.
Yeah.
They both did. Elliot brought up the McDavid one.
Oh, okay. So maybe that was it. Again, hockey is the far and away hardest sport to explain to people from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know that. I didn't remember it. I probably should have known that.
I don't know, Steve.
Also, this is the second straight show where we're like, okay, that's the rule, but is it a silly goose rule?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So if you were to interpret it the way that you think it should be interpreted, Jesse, what would you say about something like this? Because we talk about rules, but there always has to be a gray area and a spirit of a rule, right? So what's the spirit?
I'm looking at this right now, and I think Jordan Staal is doing enough to constitute control and possession. I think what he's doing is deliberate at the line, and the bobble that he has with the puck is intentional because he's bringing it over and he's skating backwards with the puck. I don't think the Situation Room got it right.
The actual amount of time a puck spends on your stick is so minuscule. I have a hard time with this one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time with this one. I perfectly understand the rule, seeing it plainly. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
agree.
I think both things that happen on this play, I get the rule. I think the rule is wrong. This is the first one. And then the second part of this, the controversy here with this OT goal, is that on the Martinook play where Warren Fogle slashes him, there's a penalty called, and that's why the delayed offside happened. That's why they score. And then it's actually called a penalty shot, and he's still able to take the penalty shot.
So why? Okay. And again, this all happened while I'm doing the Oilers game.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this and I'm going, wait a second. So, because he does get slashed on his way in. There's no question about
Not
that.
being able to watch this unfold, I would have lost my mind.
Oh. It's hard to explain unless you were watching it too, right? Like I really had to go deep. So what I didn't get about this is, first off, he didn't seem clearly fully away to me. Am I wrong on that?
It is very debatable that the penalty shot should have been called at all, because Tim Stützle had a very similar play early on and he did not get a penalty shot on it. And all of a sudden the refs are like, I'm going to call penalty shot on this one.
No Sens fan is going to want to hear this. Thank God the game ended the way it did.
Yeah.
Because if the initial goal counts, you would have lost your mind. If the penalty shot goes in, you would have lost your mind.
Yeah.
Third one goes in, oh well.
So the penalty shot's weird because they were offside.
Yes.
So why does he get a penalty shot?
Because that's how the rule's written.
Time travel.
Yeah.
Time travel. So
you enter on, so a play that should be dead at the line.
the clock, if I'm not mistaken, goes back to when the offside was, meaning the infraction that led to the penalty shot happened in a time in the game that never existed.
That's right.
Yes. And they marked the time that the penalty occurred as the time in that imaginary time.
Yeah.
So you could technically have two instances of something happen at that moment. Or say that penalty happened in that imaginary time and then Carolina scored like really quickly after it was reset to this offside point. That penalty could have occurred at a point when the game didn't exist.
Well, the game was over.
The game could have been over. I was very upset on the live stream while this was unfolding because I think that rule is so poorly written.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, because the stall thing happens and then they score and the penalty happens. I think if you're resetting to when the offside happened in the game clock, everything that happens afterwards should be null and void.
Unless, like, there should be maybe a special exemption for like major penalties.
Yes.
Right? But what? Okay. You get a penalty shot. How come you get a penalty shot? Because I did something to you that gave me an unfair advantage. You had an unfair advantage by being offside.
Yes. What you did was illegal, and we have all acknowledged that. And the game is now back to the point where you did an illegal infraction.
It should be a wash.
And so the chat, they were telling me they called it correctly by the letter of the law. And I 100% agree. The penalty part of it, they did get it right because they have written that in the rule book. It's rule 38.7. If one or more penalties, minor or major, are assessed between the time of the missed infraction and the video review that disallows the apparent goal, the offending team and responsible player will still be required to serve the penalty, identified and assessed. And the time of the penalty will be recorded as the time at which the play should have been stopped for the missed infraction.
Okay.
They interpreted the rule correctly. They got the rule right. My argument is the rule is bad.
Yes.
The rule should only, I think, because the argument is we have to have this because a player is going to see that somebody came in offside and then bean somebody in the head.
Do whatever they want. Exactly.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
But that reality is like a weird dark hole that you're going in that I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to recognize at the speed of NHL hockey.
Yeah.
That somebody's going to say, oh, Jordan Staal came offside. I'm going to go clock somebody in the head and I can't get penalized for that. One, suspension still exists.
Yes.
You can't take your stick and hack somebody in the head even though the play is dead and then you're still good. No, you can still get suspended for that. Two, if you want to put a caveat for major penalties, I think that's a good interpretation and a good rewriting of that rule. Minor penalties that happen in an imaginary time that you've erased and you've said is illegal, I don't think should continue.
Is hockey the only sport where time travel exists?
Well, can I just say this?
It literally exists.
Yeah, kind of.
What they're essentially saying is if you come in offside, only parts of the game matter.
Exactly.
Because the goals don't count, but the penalties do.
Yeah. If the goal doesn't count.
Do the shots count? Like if
No,
you fire
they
a bunch
erase everything.
So they erase the shots.
Yeah.
Like that is, it's a very fundamentally weird way to look at it. I guess it works, but
Like, I wonder, see, okay, I'm glad you're bringing this up because now you're getting into the weird minutia that I think about. Does a team's analytics department go, there were 5 shot attempts that weren't counted there, I'm counting them anyway? Or a goalie's save percentage.
I mean, that all gets affected, right?
I want to know.
But they erase those, right?
A goalie's true save percentage. Like, okay, so let's use the Leafs as an example. Best offside reviews in the league. How many goals were called back because of that, and how would that affect their save percentage?
That's interesting. Here's one for you.
Analytics teams have to account for that.
How many penalty minutes are assessed? Are any penalty minutes assessed for a penalty shot?
No.
Does it count as a penalty?
I don't think you get.
I've never actually known.
You don't
that.
get two. Like, I don't think you get like a 2 minute.
2 minute marker. Does it
You get,
count
like,
as a penalty?
infraction.
That's like really good.
Because like Warren Fogel's the one who slashed Martinook. So let me just check. I can just check and see what his game sheet says. So if you give me a second, let's go to Warren Foegele. Warren Foegele. It doesn't look like he has any sort of penalty assigned to him.
That's so strange.
That's right.
Again, impossible sport to explain.
Yeah, especially when you get into those details. Now, lucky for the NHL, lucky for the Canes.
Here you go. I can show you.
Oh, here you
the
go.
official this is how the NHL rules it on their penalty sheet. The penalty summary is Warren Foegele at 16:49, 0 penalty minutes, penalty shot hooking on a breakaway.
Let me say this. I understand why they have penalty shots in the NHL, but you should have the right to decline them. Every time my team is assessed a penalty shot, I'm like, oh, fuck, this sucks. I think I would much rather have the full penalty.
The Leafs?
Yeah, they stink on a penalty shot.
They stink worse on the power play.
Yeah, they used to be
not
good
back
on
half.
They used to be good on the power play
Of the season.
I'm just saying, man, I would rather not have that. And I think Carolina, if you were to ask them yesterday, they probably would have taken that 2 minute overtime power play over, is it Jalen Chatfield? Or no, who took the face? Martinook, excuse me. Yeah, Martinook takes the, no disrespect to Martinook, but
he had 12 goals this season.
It's not Aho or Svechnikov.
There are other guys you'd rather have take that shot. And yet, he's the one who ended up ending it anyway.
And that's in the second overtime. So Jesse, let's talk about the eventual OT goal. Because this one is just flat out Carolina being Carolina. And I think this is a bit of a dagger for the Sens because they really had the performance of a lifetime from Linus. And he's been great the first 2 games.
They haven't lost at home yet, but...
Yeah, series doesn't start to lose it at home. That old
then the series is almost over at that point. That's 3-0.
Oh, and now it's 3-0. Shoot.
All right. It's a bizarre saying.
I was very happy that Martinook is the one to get the goal to make up for everything that happened. It's just a really good shot that he wires past Linus. And if we want to heap some praise on Linus Ullmark, none of that. No goal in this series so far I'm putting on him. Carolina's been playing fantastically.
They have.
And they've been peppering shots. That's how they play hockey. And if there's a goal that happens in front of Linus, it's either a really good play by Carolina that no goalie's really stopping, or it's a breakdown in front. I think Martinook just wires went past him.
Overtime, I would argue, is the Hurricanes to a T, which is they controlled the vast majority of play. I thought Ottawa had better chances to end it. Yeah. And that is... always going to be who they are, for better or worse. So far, it's better.
Yeah, and Ottawa's going to struggle if they can't get those few chances that they have, like that first period, where it's a completely different game if they just bury a couple of them.
I want to talk about the Brady Tkachuk punch to the back of the head play, not because I'm not surprised by it. I think what I was surprised by is when it happened and how it doesn't serve the purpose of the Ottawa Senators. And I don't even remember what the score was when he did do it, but it's center ice.
It was 0-0.
It was 0-0. So there you go. No goals have been scored, and no matter what part of this game is, Ottawa has never led in this series, right? So they've been outscored, and then they had to come back from 2-0 on this game. Mm-hmm. There's no point at which Ottawa's been really and truly in control, and I always find that the Panthers and stuff, they'll do that shit when they're in control, which is most of the time. Brady doing this, I was like, man, how does that help you? Just sort of like the fight in the first game where he got sort of tuned up by Stahl. I know what he's trying to do, but the execution of it doesn't seem to be there yet.
So I missed this, Adam. That highlight I have on my phone, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
The punch to the back of the head.
And it led to a goal.
Yeah, Guys. Brady Tkachuk is crossing through center ice. It's Aho, he punches in the back of the head. It's him and Aho are both going for a change there, and he decides to give Aho a shot in the numbers. Or in the nameplate, really. I don't know if it's really the back of the head, more in the nameplate. And then so he gets 2 minutes for that because the refs they were calling everything that game. There was no playoff whistle. They were calling everything. And Stankoven scores the opening goal on the power play that Brady caused.
Damn NHL refs for making me, it was bad enough I was watching the Habs. Now I got to defend the Sens and Brady Tkachuk. That call's baby shit.
Yeah. You think so?
That call's brutal. Like, is it what it was called? What was it called? Roughing?
Yeah, it was roughing.
I mean, yeah, in the regular season. But, here's where playoff experience comes into play, and it doesn't always help because Tampa fell victim to this too. The playoff whistle doesn't really kick in until game 4 or 5. That's inexperience. That's inexperience. And the series only went to 6 last year. That's all he has to draw from. Internationally, that's an international whistle. It's not the same. They call that stuff in game 2.
I thought it was a bad call by the refs.
It's soft.
In the moment. I didn't think that it warranted a playoff penalty.
It's soft.
But then you got to blame both sides, and you don't do it, but also they don't usually call that. So I thought everybody in the instance was kind of wrong.
Here, leave it up, because if you got a brand, you got to stick to it. There's Brady Tkachuk punching someone, not looking.
That's actually true. They do that. They're great at that.
Both Tkachuk brothers love that.
Adam, did you have an issue with him doing it?
Listen, I think I don't have an issue with him doing that. That's playoff hockey. But I feel like sometimes I'm like, how do I describe this? It's sort of like he's trying to do so much, and he's trying to be everything all the time. And I feel like stuff like this, and I know this leads to a goal, which makes it even worse, but there's a world where that doesn't lead to a goal and no one thinks of it. I just don't know in that scenario, and I guess it's a tight whistle game, you got to know that. I don't know how that serves the Senators. How does that further the cause of the Senators? If you crunch Aho and light him up, or it's after a whistle and you guys are tussling and you give him a face wash, or the patented Tkachuk, I'm not looking, but I'm gonna jab you in the face. That I get. This one, that is where the puck is. Everybody's looking. They're going to call you on that.
I'm going to stick with what I said after game 1. I think he's hurt, and he's looking for ways to be effective.
Okay.
It's a soft call.
Yeah.
Soft call.
He had a goal that was like right there, right in front of the net. It would have changed the whole thing. Couldn't bury it. Shot it right over Anderson.
So listen, last episode, we had Jesse in his beach shirt from Chubby's.
I was.
And you were bringing the vibes. But let's show off what Chubby's are famous for, which is these shorts, okay? If these shorts could put you in a dangerously good mood, because not only do they fit great, but they give you the respect and the fresh air that you deserve. Chubby's makes every moment feel like Friday at 5 p.m. The trunks are supportive, they're comfortable, and they're designed to say, see you never, to chafe. And chafe is an issue if you got the hockey legs thing,
I've never liked chafe.
Chafe and I never got along.
No.
Could you wear those pants on blue shorts and khaki? What is it? Khaki pants?
Blue shirt and khaki pants day. But I guess we could reverse it.
Does the blue shorts count for that day?
It could be. What day of May is blue shirt and khaki pants?
I have it in my calendar.
I can wear them whenever I want.
Yeah, just wear them all the time.
Chubby's is celebrating 15 years. Listen, it's seriously soft, dangerously flexible, incredibly quick drying too, which is nice.
May 26th to answer your question.
May 26th is the answer. I'm so glad you have that in the calendar. Designed for comfort, built for stretch, and we want you to have some for a limited time. Chubby's is giving you 20% off with the code SDP at chubbysshorts.com. CHUBBIES shorts.com. That's 20% off your order with the code SDP. Give your thighs the VIP treatment they deserve with Chubby's. Support the show. Tell them we sent you. chubbysshorts.com. I want to talk about, so Jesse, you're going to be doing the Senators tomorrow night.
Yes.
I got the Oilers tonight. Steve, you're doing Canadiens Friday. And I'm doing Oilers Friday. So the games are all switching up because you get a couple of days off while teams switch cities.
Right.
So
yeah, you guys have caught up to where this series is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Still not yet. Now, let's talk a little Oilers, because this was a great game and it was fun. And it was a first game. And it's also... what I always love, it's, a fresh team, kind of like Montreal last year when I did the Caps Montreal series, right? Where there's a house money team, which is Anaheim. Hey, we're not even supposed to be here yet. And there's a team that's like grizzled, and we've been there before.
Cup or bust.
Yeah.
If they finish, they can't finish anywhere beyond winning the cup and have it be anything other than a disappointment.
And the Oilers, I thought in the first period, were unbelievable. Now the Ducks do come back in this game, and I want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. But the Oilers dominated the first period and the third period. And one thing I noticed about the Oilers almost immediately is how much they made the Ducks feel like the Leafs when the Leafs were playing teams like Boston, and we had guys like Roman Polak, and they would throw it in Roman's corner and then go crunch him and make him make a mistake on the breakout.
Oh,
The
you don't
Oilers
even have to go back that far. Tanev was hit the most in the entire NHL last year through 2 rounds.
Because they just threw it in and...
Throw it in Chris's corner. So much of the Leafs' defensive structure went through Chris Tanev. So just hammer that guy.
Well, I also think, too, when Stolarz went out and there's no puck-handling goaltender, right? Because Woll stinks with a puck.
It changed the series entirely. Don't make me relive it.
So the first thing I want to say is, Zach Kavanaugh, who's a great Ducks reporter, had this. So Oiler crowds were calling out Dostal. But I want you to watch this clip because I think he thought it was pretty funny because they couldn't, according to him, pronounce his name properly.
It's Dostal, isn't it?
It is, but I think it was Lucas. But I want that here. Have a watch.
If the opposing crowd is going to chant your name, would you like them to pronounce it correctly, or
fans are chanting your name?
Lucas versus Lukash?
No, it's fine. I know.
At least they know.
Actually, I didn't even notice it, to be honest. So I wasn't I knew they were chanting something, but I wasn't sure if it was my name or it was somebody else. So actually, I didn't know because when you're on the ice, it gets really loud. So and you're still trying to focus for your job. So
it's almost a sign of respect when the opposing fans are chanting.
Yeah, obviously feels great. Yeah, obviously feels great. Obviously they chant, so I make some mistake, but I mean it's just part of it. It's fun, and these are the moments that you just have to soak in and kind of enjoy as well.
Let me just say that's male model Lucas Dostal.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't hear a word you said.
He's so handsome.
He looks like a Disney prince. What was that? That guy looks like. Don't ask me the color of nothing.
The new Lundqvist.
I have no idea.
The next Lundqvist in that way, just handsome.
What Shrek character did he? Look at that.
Look.
He has very Disney Prince features.
Yeah, and the hair, and he's got a real Chad chin going on there, right? That's a sharp jawline. Yeah, it's so I thought that was fun. Now I want to talk about a little bit how Anaheim came back in this game because if you guys didn't see the game, you get a Dickinson goal and a Kapanen goal, and we're gonna play the Kapanen goals in a little bit here. But the goals are they're at the end of the first period, excuse me. So you're within 3.5 minutes at the end of the first. The Ducks are just doing their best to hang on, and the Oilers keep coming in. And the Ducks are doing, again, what the Leafs used to do, which is, all right, we got possession, let's throw it to center, to nobody. Right. And then the Oilers would grab it and come right back in. So Dickinson, who was injured and traded for a first-round pick, and people weren't thrilled about it, gets this crazy goal, and it's an unbelievable move. And Dostal's diving. Yeah. I think that's one of those pictures you hang in your basement for when you're older. God. Beautiful. Kapanen scores, we'll talk about that. But let's talk about the first part of the second period. So again, Edmonton has dominated the Ducks through 20 minutes. They come out and the Ducks score 19 seconds into the period.
That's okay. That's pretty good.
It does happen. And as a Leaf fan, I know when my team shows up on the ice and is not focused. That's happened to us way too much. Happens a lot. But I want to talk about this particular giveaway, which is goal number 2. And it happens again, Jesse, in the first 5 minutes of the second period. So now it's already 2-1. And this is textbook Evan Bouchard bad.
No.
Let's go.
And let me just say this before we get Eastern Media.
Kel McCarr gave this away.
Let me give this.
Kel McCarr gave this away.
Let me just Eastern Media this for a second. Okay. Now pause that thing, Jesse. Pause that thing.
Okay.
All right.
It'll just loop.
Everything that is said about Evan Bouchard is true. Mm-hmm. He is phenomenal and great and probably he's 1 or 2 in Norris voting this year. Also prone to bad giveaways. Now, one thing I've always said is Evan Bouchard's defense in the playoffs is spectacular. It's where sometimes he loses focus in the regular season. This is a regular season play in the postseason. And it's the first game, so I'll give it to him. But this is brutal. So that's Chris Kreider bearing in on Evan. Now, if you look on the other side, there's Jake Wallman. All he's got to do, and what he tries to do, is backhand that puck around to ring it around to number 96, okay? But for whatever reason, it just goes off his stick immediately to Kreider. And
the way the Ducks are attacking him, like they're targeting him.
Yes.
They're targeting your top defenseman. That's alarming.
Well, I mean, I understand why they're doing it, but I look at that, Steve, and I'm like, there's an easy out here. He just misplays the puck. And so it goes Kreider.
They're targeting him because he does that.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, well, Terry gets it and absolutely rips this thing home, right? Or,
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, was it? Yeah.
Can I address Oilers fans who want to defend Evan Bouchard? Because I've figured it out, guys. Because Kel McCarr had a giveaway yesterday, led to a breakaway, and then he took the player down. I can't remember who it was, and it led to a penalty shot. And everyone's like, well, why aren't we all talking about this? The answer is simple. Evan Bouchard's mistakes are visually way funnier. It's nothing. It's not a bias for McCarr against Bouchard. They're
LOL.
They're very funny. And I understand why you don't find them funny. But you ever see any misfortune happen to the Leafs and you go, you know what? It's funnier because it's the Leafs.
Yes. It was like I remember when Brian McCabe scored on the Leafs in like overtime. Himself.
Against Buffalo.
And it was front page news in Toronto.
Yes.
And it was just because he had so many goofy giveaways that year.
That's when I did leave Brian McCabe alone.
That's right. Oh my God. Throwing it back.
I forget the name of the YouTuber I was parodying. But yeah, man, his mistakes are funnier.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not like an East-West thing. It's not an anti-Edmonton. They're funny. I can't help that they make me lol.
Now, let's talk about the next goal, because that's goal 2-2, right? That ties the game. But towards the end of the second period, Darnell Nurse takes the dumbest penalty I've ever seen.
There's been some pretty dumb ones.
This one was really dumb. So Mason McTavish comes streaking in off the wing, and I know that we can't really run like a slideshow here, but just to describe it to you, Mason McTavish beats him. And what Darnell Nurse does is, because Mason McTavish takes a shot and Ingram saves it. Ingram had a great game. And that's his first playoff victory, by the way, ever.
Which is hilarious. Given our history. So
McTavish shoots. He takes a little dig at Ingram's pad, and Nurse cross-checks him from behind. Usually in the playoffs, they let that go. But where I think Nurse goes wrong is he keeps doing it. 1, 2, 3, and then tries to take his helmet off. And I'm like, Darnell, you don't need to do that. You're already kind of underwater in this period. And that play didn't make you look good. And so then, and maybe we bring up Game Center for this one, Jesse. 5 seconds into that stupid Darnell Nurse penalty, you got Granlund winning the faceoff, Terry getting it back to Carlson, Carlson get it to Terry, Terry rips it home.
Troy Terry's got that touch.
He does.
Holy cow.
He had it yesterday, or he had it on Monday's game.
Why doesn't he hit? He apparently doesn't need to.
Doesn't really need to. If you're looking at this play, it's just perfectly executed power play, but giving them the opportunity. Watch this. Granlund wins the faceoff. Terry, Carlson, Terry, net. Here you go.
Wow.
And in.
Yeah, that's a crazy shot.
That was just one of those great plays. And again, I kind of relate it to what the Lightning are doing in their penalty, because the Lightning have been there before, the Oilers have been there before. And I feel like both teams are playing a later round whistle.
The Lightning have also been trying to get after Dobish early on shifts. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like just testing him early, making him handle it early, and it's almost worked a handful of times.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
the Ducks are doing
the other thing I want to talk about, and I just want you to, Jesse, if you can go to 357 of this video and just freeze it there. I want to show you just the celebrations of Kasperi Kapanen. So Dickinson had 2 goals. Terry had 2 goals. Kapanen had 2 goals. And this is Leon Draisaitl's first game in like a month and a half. Dickinson had missed a few weeks as well. Draisaitl absolutely walks through Leo Carlson and Jackson Lacombe to start this play.
a couple pretty good players.
And again, we can't show it in sequence. He just walks in, and this is a guy that's missed a month and a half. And puck goes down to Podkolzin, and it's funny because Kapanen and Draisaitl are in the same spot, and because they have sort of a similar gait, I thought it was Draisaitl that scored this goal, but the second goal. But
you wouldn't be the first play-by-play guy to accidentally say Kasperi Kapanen.
No, I accidentally said Draisaitl.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
But this tandem was like flying throughout the whole game, and you have 4 or 5 high danger chances. Maddie, bring it up. Look at Kasperi Kapanen and how good he feels about that goal. That's the first period, right?
Kasperi
That's
Kapanen
a punch.
exclusively scores huge playoff goals.
Yes.
This guy is never going to score like the 5-0 goal in a 7-1 victory. Like he
Chris
just
Paul.
Yes, to cut the lead to 42. Like he just scores massive goals.
And so that's the first goal he scored. Second goal he scores. If you go to 950, Jesse, and I want you to just see this celebration too. This is a guy, remember, that started his career in Toronto and had a really good start, got a good contract, underperformed it, and basically almost found himself out of the league.
I thought his career was over. I really did.
Like he was getting, I'm looking at, he had some injuries and stuff, but you're talking about a guy who was a parts player. Pittsburgh, he had 30 points, and then it goes down to 20, and then it's 22. And then yet last year finds his spot in Edmonton in the playoffs.
Because no one needs an overpaid one-dimensional pain in the ass. And that's what he was when he was young. He was an overpaid one-dimensional pain in the ass. Pain in the ass for his team.
Yep. And that goes to Toronto, Pittsburgh, and I would say a little bit of St. Louis too.
Yeah. And he did what not everyone's capable of. He grew up. He evolved, and he found his spot in the league. He did what so many guys fail to do. I've been this kind of player my whole life, and that's what's going to get me through to the other side. That's not how it works.
No.
You have to
look at that. Jumping celebration there.
Levitating.
And that is the game winner. That's the 4-3 goal. And that's with less than 2 minutes to go. You say Kasperi Kapanen only scores big goals. This was a big goal.
This was a huge goal. That's all he does, man.
If I remember correctly, Draisaitl also got this one done.
Yeah, it was all.
No.
That's all Leon and then Podkolzin but that you think
they're one and the same.
Let me take you back to the beginning of last season and go, okay, Oilers just coming off a Stanley Cup, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to pick up 2 guys that are going to be key for them. And if I said to you, well, they've got Kasperi Kapanen already, but they traded for him last season, so no, they didn't. Beginning of last season, Kasperi Kapanen is going to go to the Oilers, and Podkolzin, bust of a pick from Vancouver, is going to go to Edmonton, and Leon Draisaitl is going to center a line with those two, and it's going to be highly effective. You'd have laughed me out of the room.
2 players who figured it out. They figured out how to establish themselves as something other than, hey, I'm sort of just a decent scoring option. They're gritty, hardworking, pain in the ass players for the other team.
Yes. Yeah, not for their own. And this is the first game that the Oilers won all season without McDavid getting a point.
Hilarious.
Which is crazy. Now, moving on to the Utah-Vegas game. Now this is all knotted up at 1. I want to talk to you guys about this Cooley line. I don't know if you guys saw this. Is also from Mike Kelly. The Yamamoto Cooley Genther line. 17 minutes on ice together.
There's another guy I thought was out of the league in Yamamoto.
Yeah, 100%. A former Oiler, right? Yep. Shots were 11-6 while they were on the ice. Scoring chances were 11-3 while they were on the ice. Expected goals percentage. Expected by whom? Expected by Utah. Almost 90%.
Sheesh.
And 2-0. 2-0 were the goals in terms of them being on the ice together.
That is generally good.
That's a very, very good group. I wondered, how much of that game did you guys see last night?
I wasn't able to catch any.
Okay, so I saw a chunk of it.
I can't stay up till 2 every night.
One of the reasons I watched this one specifically is I couldn't watch game 1 because everything else was going on.
Yeah.
And I was wondering about the skating in this series. Because Vegas has some skaters, Marner, Eichel, but largely slower team.
Plotting.
And it worked for them in game 1.
Sure.
But after game 2, Jesse, I look at that and I go, this could, if Utah really wants to do this, and there's a ton of inexperience, they can easily do this.
Yeah. There's no doubt that Utah can hang in this series. Like their offensive firepower is something that's going to be hard to stop. And I know one of the goals was just that goal that Rasmus Andersson put in by himself. But you're creating that opportunity if you're Utah. That was chaos in front, and there's a scramble, and it goes off his foot, and he kicks it in. So I don't think like Utah should be underestimated in that they could potentially steal this series. If I'm Vegas coming out of that game, I am confident in how we played the first two games. Like, I don't think I should be worried and think that this series is lost or anything, because they were up big on the shot counter early on, I believe. After they score that first goal, it was a good goal, and they have that lead, and then they lose it there, and it's just a matter of like, can we just break through on the other side and get our goals? Because I think they probably did enough defensively to be in that game as tight as 1-goal game. It's just like, okay, now we need to step up a little offensively, which has kind of been a weird problem that they've had all season long.
Yeah.
Putting the puck in the back of the net. And I think we saw some of what led to Vegas having a really mediocre regular season in the loss to the Utah Mammoth.
Like, I still, because of all the experience they have, if they go into Utah and steal one and they come back home 2-2, I think it's still a huge advantage Vegas. The further on a series goes, the less speed has the advantage, the more big, tough meanies have the advantage. Utah has some of those too. They can play like bastards. We've seen that. It's going to be a good series. It is a good series. Yeah. I'm thrilled for that. I was really dismayed kind of when Minnesota kicked Dallas's ass in game 1. And Minnesota fans were like, hey, man, what the hell? No, like, I want it to be. I was glad Dallas tied it up. We all deserve that series goes. Now that my team's not in it, I want every series to go 7 because screw it.
Yeah, you're just rooting for competition.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's the fun thing of this, watching as an impartial observer. It's Steve, who's not impartial because he loves the Lightning.
Yeah.
He's rooting for John Cooper. I guess if you're looking for places where Utah just like, that's the game you got to play and that's how you're going to win this series. The second period, I wanted to check the shot counter when the Vegas eventually put in the 2-2 tying goal. It was 18-11 for Utah, and it felt that way throughout that period. And you need to capitalize on that, and like continue that momentum. You had a really good period, and then it sucks your life a little when Vegas is the one who comes out of that with the goal about 4 minutes left. But then Logan Cooley's amazing, and you don't let that get down on you, and you come back and you win the game 3-2.
And Genther's driving them nuts.
Yeah,
he's really running around like a madman out there.
Fellas, can you guys make me a promise here?
Yeah.
Okay, do not send this to Alan. How did Dursey only get fined? He headbutt a guy?
Well, it was only a $5,000 fine.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if you saw the play on Zuccarello that Myers dropped an elbow on his head, and there was not a penalty, a fine, anything. We can bring it up. It's at the very bottom, Jesse.
No, I saw Marcus Foligno give the Scorpion death drop to someone. That was Harley.
Yeah,
it was Thomas Harley hit his head off the turnbuckle. That was real WrestleMania stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's
There's
nuts.
been some dirty plays. You could argue the headbutt isn't even like a top 5 dirty play in these playoffs so far.
Yeah. So I look at, I want to look at that, and I wanted to look at, I'm just pulling up my notes here. With that series, obviously, it's 1-1, whatever.
On that Cooley goal where he beats Shea Theodore, is Shea Theodore getting a little old?
No. How old is Shea Theodore?
How old is Shea Theodore?
Like 20.
I think Cooley's just really good.
30?
Maybe just credit to the guy who's fast. He's 30.
Hey, there you go.
Is his speed going?
Sure, it could. I mean, he was a 2013 draft pick.
Wow. I still think...
Steve, watch this in real time.
Okay, fine.
Watch this in real time.
I still think it's not east-west bias. It's small market bias.
On Utah?
Yeah.
Look at the speed that
he just
the pivot where he can't quite pivot to turn around. He gets caught flat-footed
that's
there.
Quite bad.
It's Shea Theodore, get in position. You're trying to pinch here, and Cooley's just so good, so fast. He just beats him off the rush. Beautiful goal.
I think it's also just a bad read because he has to stop hard because he's heading up the ice hard. which, I mean, kind of damns you.
Also, I keep saying Cooley. Cooley's the one who scored. Genther's the one who's coming on the rush.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I was
sorry.
like, I don't think that's his number.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Genther's the one who's coming on the rush who beats Shea Theodore, and then Cooley's the one who cleans it up. But Genther, so much speed.
Yeah. He's crazy.
They're a great, really underrated team to watch.
I think you're right that it's a bad read by Theodore to pinch a little and then get twisted all around. And then he's doing the thing where that's not how you kind of pick up speed, just chopping, turn around.
Colby Armstrong calls them panic crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's a term for it.
That was
like
big
that.
time panic crossovers.
yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's the sound it makes digging into the air. Shit!
Yeah. I guess not old, just got beat by a really good player.
Should the Penguins be panicking? And is it wrong of me, bold of me, to say Crosby's not look good in this series?
I think there's plenty of room to panic. Yeah.
2 losses at home.
2 bad games where you looked miserable on the ice.
And we'll talk about Porter Martone. Let's save the Flyers. Let's just talk Pittsburgh Penguins. Because
For the most part, the teams that lost game 1 had a pretty decent counterpunch in game 2. Even if they lost. Like I'll throw Ottawa in there.
I'll throw LA in there.
Oh, big time.
And we'll
Big
talk
time.
about that series a little later. But
They're hanging around in the series in a big way. Big way. Pittsburgh is, I would say, the only team who lost game 1 who got worse in game 2.
And I know it's been a tumultuous year for Flyers fans and for the Flyers organization themselves. But Rick Tocchet's got this group. It took him a while.
They got better as the season went.
Every month they got better.
Pretty much. They had I'd say they started decently. They had a dip, and then they figured it out and haven't stopped figuring it out.
And obviously it helps that Porter Martone gets his second game-winning goal of the playoffs, which is the only, like...
He's okay.
He's okay. Yeah, he's good. But I like, is it... I'm trying to figure it out. Is it a coaching thing where Tocchet's been there, Dan Muse hasn't at this level? Is it a Kyle Dubas thing where he can put together great regular season teams and regularly they're out in the playoffs? Is it a mixture of both? Is it injuries? Is it age? Is it momentum? Because the Flyers have been hot for 6 weeks and the Penguins wobbled a little bit in March. Not crazy bad, but they weren't great.
They were battling pretty significant injuries.
Yeah. Like, what is this? What's happening? At home, you lose 2 at home?
It's not fair to single one guy out because they have plenty of issues, but the amount of Penguins fans who are just like Chris Letang, brother.
It is over. You know, Chris...
Like we were just talking about, like, is Shea Theodore old?
That's old.
Brother.
Yeah.
This guy is barbecued, and time comes for us all. It's incredible he's still in the league.
Well, he should have retired 3 times. He had like career-threatening injuries at least that many times.
Didn't he have 2 strokes?
Yeah.
That's incredible he's still playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's looked his age in this series, and like he's looked his age.
Jesse?
Watching most of that game back, it's clear that one team is better than the other team. And I think for a lot of the Penguins' struggles, a lot of them are their own, and they don't have the ability to hang in this series right now. But you have to also credit Philadelphia in the way they're playing is making the Penguins look foolish. It's a spectacular defensive performance is how they're getting everything done. And even just like simple things like ragging the puck and just making the Pens come at them and make mistakes. It's been a masterful coaching performance by Rick Tocchet. But on the Penguin side of it, because that's where we are, Josh Yohe and The Athletic, I know they don't write their own headlines, but his article was titled "The End of a Penguins Era Might Be Imminent After Another Loss to the Flyers."
That's bit infringement. How dare
That's
you?
our
An
bit.
era wasted? What are you doing?
It's our bit with the Penguins last year.
Right. We weren't wrong. We were just early.
And there was this paragraph that I highlighted and I wanted to read to you guys. He said, "Speed and physicality intensify immeasurably in the postseason. The Penguins haven't come close to matching the young Flyers, and they can only truly play harder if their old legs have something left in the tank. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but the degree of difficulty has suddenly been increased to extreme levels. And he also went on to list the old guys on the team and the problems with them in the first 2 games.
What do we got?
Talked about Letang looked like when he flopped to the ice, unable to stop Owen Tippett's pass from reaching Garnet Hathaway, who shorthanded goal, all but put the Penguins away late in the second period.
Can we just talk about just quickly Garnet Hathaway, who didn't have a point through like 50, 60 games this year. He had 3 points all year, gets a goal.
His presence in the Flyer lineup, like in the first half of the season, was barely justifiable.
He had 1 goal in the regular season, and he gets a shorty.
And here he is.
Sorry, Jesse.
Sorry, and the setup to that is the Penguins' best players are old. And then he goes on to list their old moments on the ice. So Malkin looked at old every time the Flyers penalty killers got behind him. Erik Karlsson looked at when Tippett absolutely blew past him on a third period rush. Sidney Crosby looked to have his legs more in game 2. And yet the captain, the man who's dominated the Flyers in unspeakably vicious ways during his 21-year career, doesn't have a point in this series.
That's crazy.
The old guys look old.
Again, I don't want to isolate this one guy. In 2 games, Chris Letang is a -4.
Well, okay, how many can we check a shift chart on him? How much is he playing?
-4 averaging. This is not justifiable. 2103.
Yeah, so you can't do that.
No, you can't.
That's a Dan Muse problem.
That is the second highest on the team. That's not justifiable.
This is where
What are you doing?
This is where I always diverged with Kyle, because I'm sure there's some metrics within the organization that back up playing Letang like that. But he also could justify Cody Ceci playing with Morgan Riley in 2021 all season long, when the rest of us had 2 eyeballs in our skull and realized that neither Morgan Riley or Cody Ceci was good at defense. And, you know, they would be putting them out there in high leverage situations, and the Columbus Blue Jackets ate them up. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of things here. I think absolutely the old guys are old.
Okay.
We knew that.
Yeah.
I also think it's fair to say that the Flyers have Pittsburgh's number.
Yes.
Like,
They know how to play against them.
Give the Flyers some credit here, and I'm not saying that he wasn't, but I'm saying this is a team that's contained those guys because they can break out.
That's why I wanted to start off before I got to that. The Pittsburgh guys are old, and just giving credit to the Flyers and playing fantastic hockey for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like that's what they've been doing. And it's just translated really well to the playoffs, and it's just continued. And the Penguins can't hang with the team playing this well.
They can't. Now, Porter Martone through 11 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points, 39 shots on goal. Since he started playing, that's the most of any Flyer.
Wow.
He's a +7, leads the NHL in game winning goals in the playoffs. Duh.
Hilarious.
More multi-point games than 0-point games in his career so far. 8-1-2 record with him in the lineup.
Wow. I mean, that's the kind of guy
That's why you drafted him so high.
Yeah,
I got
but
more stats if you want.
So many teams at the trade deadline went out looking for that player. Flyers found him.
He's just in the system.
They already had him.
According to Adam Kimmelman, at NHL Adam K, he is the first teenager in NHL history to score game-winning goals in each of his first 2 career playoff games. The only one to ever do that.
You know how long this league has been around?
Third rookie in NHL history to score game-winning goals in consecutive games to start a postseason, joining Brett Hull and
Brett Hull. Okay, wait. You started at Brett Hull. And
Brett Hull 1988, which he might have still been a Flame.
Oh.
Or maybe he was a Blue at that point.
not
but
sure.
It was like right on the line. Okay. And the other one is, this is the most 1920s name you guys have ever heard in your life.
Oh, this is from the 20s?
1929.
Hit me with Sprague Cleghorn.
Cooney Weiland. Cooney Weiland. Consecutive game-winning goals to start a postseason. So that's nuts. And I'm excited to see, like, maybe going to Philadelphia and having the crowd, call Crosby out, whatever. Maybe that galvanizes the Penguins a little bit here. But of all the picks I made on my Spark bracket, I'm really regretting the one I made.
I'm not feeling good about it.
Are both of you on Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I had Pitt in 7.
I did too.
I'd feel it.
Well, if Pittsburgh's going to win, 7's looking pretty good.
So feel confident about it.
Yep.
Can we talk just very quickly about Buffalo Boston? Buffalo came roaring into the playoffs, but Boston them yesterday.
I'm going to file that one under Raggy.
Really? So do you think that's more than a one game thing? Or is that because we've been asking, is the Boston playoff identity still there?
Oh, big time. It's still there. But like, if you want to look at it pessimistically, Boston has dominated basically both games so far, at least in terms of who had the lead, right? And if you want to, you can attribute some of Buffalo's shot domination in game 1 to, well, they were down most of the time. You're always playing from behind. In what world is that good? Now, you pulled it off in game 1, low percentage likelihood you pull that off, but they pulled it off.
And it's Tage, you know?
And it's Tage, and you pulled it off. You started to pull it off in game 2.
They did come back.
Pretty interesting. I guess the good news is you can score goals against these guys. The trick is going to be scoring them first. Scoring them when you're not cheating for offense. You've got to beat these guys face to face, straight up, man to man. And they've had a hard time doing that through 2 games. And despite that, it's tied. You, quote unquote, lose home ice advantage, but you have 2 games to take it back here.
Boston's not an easy place to play, though. This is going to be interesting for young guys.
No, but they've given up games at home. They're not. Don't listen to Leaf fans. The Bruins are not immortal. They're just really good. Okay?
We just made them look immortal.
Yeah, this is the playoffs. There's exclusively really good teams here in the pool. That's what it is. But you are going to have to score against these guys when you're not cheating for offense.
Jesse, who did you have winning this series?
Buffalo.
Do you still feel good about that pick?
I'm a little iffy on it right now because the UPL had a disaster game last night.
That was horrible.
The goal from center ice wasn't pretty, but the other ones he allowed weren't pretty either. The first Arvidsson goal where he's able to get in behind the defense, that's just a goalie kind of not ready, and he sneaks it by him. And then I think it was the other Arvidsson. It wasn't the other Arvidsson goal. I think it was the Zaka goal on the power play where Zaka had a bad game 1. He was back in it in this one. There's another breakdown on the PK that Buffalo's not able to stop. And I don't know. It was just, I would have liked a couple saves there by UPL, especially on the one from center ice and then the one to start the game. And Buffalo looked shaky. It looked like Boston could get around them when they wanted to and generate offense as much as they wanted to. The other Arvidsson goal is also a one where Arvidsson's just alone with the goalie, and you need saves and you need your defense not to allow all these chances off the rust.
Can you imagine a year ago using the sentence, the other Arvidsson goal?
Yeah.
Edmonton Oilers fans can't.
Yeah.
He's had a great year.
Who would you start game 2? Or other one, game 3?
Luukkonen. Like I don't think you go to Lyon yet. At least I think it's UPL's net still, and we'll see how it goes in game 3. But I think it's still his net just because of what he's done in the regular season.
What'd you call the goalie? Luukkonen?
Ukko-Pekka?
Yeah, you're just showing off.
Yeah, I can actually pronounce his name.
You're saying his name.
Hey,
you're just showing off.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Imagine doing prep. I can't. I want to talk about too. I want to give some credit to the Los Angeles Kings. I know they're down 2-0.
I don't. Moving on.
First off, Lawton. Did you see Scott Lawton get laid up again by Josh Manson?
No.
Manson came across the ice. Lawton he had his head up, but he had the puck, and they're in the Colorado zone, and Manson just lays him out again. And it was funny. They interviewed him because in the States, they actually get to interview them during the game, which is kind of fun. And he said, yeah, no bicycles on the highway. I got to watch out for that guy, which is such a great line.
Come back.
I love him.
I miss you.
God. It took overtime, and it took 2 former Leafs, Kadri and Nick Waugh, to finish the game off.
Shut up!
2 Leaf third-line centers.
No one asked! This series is nowhere near Toronto.
Nick Waugh.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Overtime.
Shut up!
I don't think I saw Nick Waugh that excited. I mean, I get it's because he never played in the playoffs for Toronto, but I don't think I saw Nick Waugh 50% that excited in a Leaf uniform. He was just, because he's a very chill guy. He was just, after that overtime winner goes in. This Avs team.
Craig Berube must answer for his crimes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jess, is it frustrating for you as it is for me to see Nick Waugh used properly?
Oh, like they're always going to do that. It was good. And like, I know there's a lot of Kings fans who are looking at this game and being like, oh, we're kind of in it. I did stay up till almost 2 to watch that one because it was in overtime and I had to watch it. And the Kings might have been in that game because of the score, but that's how the Kings lost every game this year. They kept it tight. They got to overtime and then they lost. I don't think there should be any confidence that this series is going differently than when you predicted it before the series, if you guys are thinking about your brackets, because this is kind of how the Kings play hockey, and then they lose these games in extra time. And I'm so upset at the stupid Panarin goal because once again, the NHL is getting in the way of themselves and the referees are making it the ref show. The Kings were on the power play. The Colorado Avalanche gain control in the defensive zone. They're going to send it down the other end of the ice like you do when you're on the penalty kill, and they're going to ice the puck. The linesman in the neutral zone gets in the way of the puck that's being iced. It bounces off of him, goes into the bench, and then they put the face-off back to where the guy sent it down the ice. So back in the offensive zone for the Kings.
Yep.
Off of that face-off play, the Kings score the Panarin goal. Oof. That is a ridiculous rule that if the linesman gets in the way on the puck that cleared the blue line, he was in the neutral zone when it hit him, that the face-off isn't then in the neutral zone.
Yeah, they treat it like an icing anyway, which is stupid.
No,
it should be neutral.
Well, it's not an icing.
Oh, not an icing.
They
Sorry,
treat it like we just got to go back to where the puck was shot by the player in the other zone because he hit it off the ref and it went out.
Or just where the puck was.
Why is that the rule? Once again, I understand why it was called because that's where the rule book says it. That's a stupid rule.
So, as I understand it, refs and linesmen are just part of. I guess they're considered part of like the playing surface.
They are technically a part of the play.
They're a part of the ice.
Yeah,
really. So if it hits them, it's akin to if it hits them and it goes into the bench. It's akin to you just firing it into the bench.
Exactly. So the rule is he fired it directly into the bench is how you have to look at the play in your imaginary mind. But in reality, the puck hit the linesman and went off into the bench. Put a caveat on the rule. Just like you had a caveat in the other rule for where if a penalty occurs there, the penalty still exists. Why not when you're icing the puck on the penalty kill and it hits a lineman and randomly goes off into the bench? Why isn't that just neutral zone faceoff? Yeah. Take it to center ice.
Take it to center ice.
Call it a wash.
Yes. Center ice seems like a pretty reasonable.
Call it a wash.
Where did the puck go out? Where's the closest faceoff dot to that?
Yeah. How is that not? I learned about this rule this second or last night, and I'm like, this is a stupid rule.
You know, I got to be honest with you. I've never learned more about hockey than in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
It's like, wait a second. That rule didn't even happen in all the regular season games. But in the playoffs, we're like, well, get at it. Microscopes out, everybody. It's crazy.
It's like,
stupid.
It's every year. I feel like I'm a chef and I know how to cook and then April arrives. I've never seen food.
So I'm happy
I've never seen food. I don't know what it
sandwich.
I'm happy that the Avs were able to come out of that. They were talking. They did a great job, I thought, on this broadcast. Eric Johnson's doing that one.
He's great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Awesome. And he was calling out a really cool thing that the Avs do. I don't know how many teams do it, but I never really noticed it until he talked about it. On when they're in the offensive zone and they want to set up the one-timer, they always switch their Ds, so the handedness is there. But then there's some instances where they just throw Kale like in the corner and their 2D are just far on the other side. So now I'm watching every single Avs face-off to see what face-off play they're setting up. And Bednar's so creative.
Yeah.
With like everything he's doing out there. There's so many little instances where he's shifting guys. And like I said, I haven't really dialed in how many other teams are this creative off of the dots, but the Avs are one of the best. But Malinsky almost scored off of one that hit into the side of the net.
Have you ever heard a more Saskatchewan accent than Jared Bednar? That's the most Saskatchewan sounding man in the world.
Arguably Mike Babcock.
Babs was all made up.
No, yeah, he's got
I know he's from Saskatchewan.
The Franken accent.
But Bednar's like, that's Saskatchewan. That man. I know him. He's that province.
Yes. That's the mayor.
Yeah, that is the mayor. A couple of things I want to show you from the Stars game. I know they tied it up, but first off, really funny at the beginning.
I did.
Go ahead.
The starting goaltender of the LA Kings is Anton Forsberg. I just had to get that out.
That's fair.
I screwed that up last show.
Quinn.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it. They went Forsberg. Yeah, not
I was like, Kemper's going to have to steal a couple, and Drew immediately texts me. He goes, Steven. I'm like, damn it.
yeah, Forsberg was there.
I want to see. Can you throw up the? There's a link that I just have highlighted there, Jesse. Dallas fans are hilarious. They're very loud. They're very boisterous. The playoffs have had crazy moments. I don't know if you saw the Adrian Kempe signs in
was
Colorado
unhinged.
yesterday, like because he was running around like crazy in the first game too.
One of those signs was funny.
Yeah.
10.6 million for cardio is crazy, but then the rest of them, I'm like, get help.
And there's the Quinn Hughes ones. The couple of people dressed as ghosts going to the Quinn Hughes game. Hughes. Ghosts Gone Wild.
I haven't seen that.
I don't know if those are actually Wild fans or Dallas fans, but either way, it's funny.
Hughes, scary good.
I'm assuming
Ghosts
they're
Gone
Wild fans, maybe.
I think they might be Wild fans.
Yeah, but that is... okay.
That's great.
Next thing I want to bring up, the Colin Blackwell hit. Through center.
Legal
hit. And Colin Blackwell, former
Leaf legend. You beat me to it.
Sorry. I really liked him while he was here, but I don't know why, and I don't know why they didn't keep him, but
because they're dumb.
He is 5'8". He's a water bug. And you got to respect anybody who's in the league for more than 20 seconds that's 5'8". Mm-hmm. But this guy's strong. Watch this hit through the neutral zone. And that is Trenin, baby. That is a big boy. And
I believe it's Treinen.
Is it Treinen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I was calling this game in between the Sens Carolina game, and I heard Treinen.
Well, he needs to Treinen harder because Blackwell.
How friggin' dare you?
Puts him on his buttocks. Can we? If I know you're Maddie, take it down for a second. Can we just show take the actual clip down for a second so Jesse can show this. We don't get flagged. Show us where Trenin ends up, or Treinen ends up, Jesse, and then we'll flash it back on the screen.
I'm calling
right
him Trenin until someone
right there.
tells me not to.
He just wham. And remember, Treinen is huge. Blackwell is not.
I don't think you understand what an important hit this is in this series. So, holy shit!
Like that's crazy. By the way, he's 6'2", 201. Big boy.
It's a big boy. So Minnesota shaboinks Dallas in game one. Absolutely shaboinks them. This game is 1-1. It's early on. This is Colin Blackwell, a depth player on the Stars, identifying a somewhat depth player on Minnesota. But Trenin, I think, ended the season with over 400 hits. He was among the league leaders, if not led the league. He had 13 hits in game one. And you can't tell me that wasn't a factor.
He's a fantasy hockey god in the playoffs. You need him.
I played him. I think I played him over Jason Robertson, and I was right.
You were right. Yeah,
like it was crazy. The only guy who got more points for me that day was Matt Boldy, who is a person who exists. Sorry, Minnesota fans.
Yeah.
The rest of the game, you now no longer have to worry about the NHL hits leader. That's a big mental edge. Huge, and it's Blackwell.
Yeah. Role player. Dallas are great at they're so great at finding those guys.
This is not to make it about the Leafs again, but like they
gave up assets to have this guy, and you didn't take him.
You've just let the guys who are capable of this pour through your fingers.
Almost won the game the other night.
Amadio's one where like I can't.
Heath didn't like him.
I can't yell at I didn't like him. I was watching him play, and I'm like, this guy can't skate. And then he goes to Vegas and is instantly good, and I'm like, oh, maybe he just can't skate in this system. They keep hemorrhaging dogs. That's a big turning point in this series,
and I want
especially if Trenin doesn't come.
They should fix the fantasy system if you're playing Trenin over Jason Robertson. That's a broken system.
He had 13 hits. 13.
No, Jesse.
I feel like that defeats the purpose of building like a star-studded hockey team.
No. I like the hit stats because I can cheat. Everybody knows goals and assists, but not everybody in my fantasy pool knows hits.
I like the one that lets me win.
Yeah, exactly. Now Dallas and Minnesota are going to play tonight. No Zuccarello. Can we just bring up the clip, Jesse? The third one in that stack. This was not penalized. This was not looked at. And I mentioned it earlier, but Zuccarello is a huge loss for the Wild, just like Rupe Hintz is a huge loss for Dallas, right? So I guess maybe they cancel each other out. This is a brutal elbow to the head.
Oy.
You can go back a little bit here. Look at that. Wham.
Who's that on the Stars?
That's Myers. Now, Myers is very tall.
Oh, that explains a lot about what I'm seeing. And this was just nothing?
Nothing. Wild fans are pissed.
The response, what is Myers supposed to do? It's always what is tall guy supposed to do when short guy? And that's the wrong question.
What is short guy supposed to do?
Yes. What is tall guy supposed to do? Good point. So it's nothing. What? That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Yep. So he was in concussion protocol.
This is an NHL player hitting another NHL player in the head and injuring them. That should be an easy day at work for George Peros. And
He took an easier day.
What? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I missed game one. It was game two, George.
So if you're worried about the streaming schedule, it goes like this. Tonight, I'm going to do the Edmonton stream, Edmonton Ducks. I think it's perfect that I got the Ducks. I just think it's so perfect.
It's great. It's great.
Steve will be, Jesse will be tomorrow. Ottawa Canes, right? That's tomorrow?
We have a website. It's called fcpn.ca/schedule. We have our full schedule there.
Yeah, and then Steve's Friday. So there you go. Yeah. So I'm just throwing that out there. What are you looking at? What?
I wanted to bring up the NHL pronunciation guide. It says Trenin.
It is Trenin.
Tre.
Hey, Tre.
See, it looks like Trenin.
Trenin. Yeah.
Nihn. Neen. I would call that Neen, or is that Nin?
The first part's definitely Tre. Treh.
You know what's frustrating?
And
when they
me.
spell it phonetically and it doesn't help.
You know what I'll say?
Who is Edwards Traulmarks?
I'm going to. He played in the Olympics.
Yakov.
He played for Latvia at the Olympics.
Nah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did, because I did a bunch of Latvia games. I'll say this. I'm just going to go back to anglicizing it, and it's Trenin. So I'm sorry. We're in North America, and it's Trenin to me.
What about Gleb Trikozov? Who does he play for?
I don't know who Gleb Trikozov plays for.
Gleb Trikozov. Islanders?
I have no
Jesse,
idea.
this is the ultimate who he play for. Who are these? At least I knew Edward Trollmax.
I like how pronounced the true in Truba is.
True.
Also, I love that they have Jacob as a pronouncer, because there can be a Jakob, right?
Yeah. They
some
do
people
that.
are-
I think we're settling on saying Trenin.
I'm going to
Hey,
say
Trenin. No, it's Trenin.
I think the broadcast on ESPN says Trenin.
abandon ship. Look at Jonathan Taves.
Where are we?
Where?
Oh.
They spell it Tayvz.
Taves.
That's Taves.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
phonetic.
Yeah, okay.
No, you missed that one.
I think Jonathan is even funner. Jawn. Fun.
What about this?
P.
Back. There you go.
Yo,
Nikita
did you just search P? Because you...
Cola Pilo. They emphasize P.
I need to see what came up.
No, I saw it and I just highlighted
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
No, he
okay.
didn't search
I
P.
just went like this. I didn't search it. No.
Let's go to the Leafs and Vancouver Canucks GM search. So there was an article in the Providence, which is a huge newspaper in Vancouver. The Province, not the Providence.
I was about to say.
And excuse me here.
How dare you.
Mark Bergevin's name has come up, and Ben Kuzma wrote this, and he doesn't. Again, writers do not write their own headlines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he had said Mark Bergevin brings experience, roster expertise, and humor to a GM bit. I would hope he brings human.
Yes.
AI.
And
So he's not qualified for the Leafs job.
well, he was interviewed for it along with Treliving.
If he's bringing human, that's not what the Leafs want.
no.
So scratch this.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
He's not. No. Now
You walk into the office and it's an automatic. Ugh.
Ah.
the Vancouver Canucks have said a lot of the same things the Leafs have about their GM search, that they're going to take as long as they need to, and that they're going to go through an exhaustive search. But Bergevin's name is on the short list. And according to a source in Ben's article, is he on the short list? He should be, an NHL source told Post Media. He went through the ringer in Montreal and definitely has a lot of connections around the league. 9 years of GM in the pressure cooker Canadians. He guided them to 6 postseason runs, including the 2021 Cup. Looks good on a resume. So do key trades and smart drafting that kept the Habs a constant contender. And let me tell you this. That is an oversimplification of his time in Montreal. He had the best goalie in the world and should have made the playoffs 9 out of 9 years.
Are you excited for no goals ever?
Your leading scorer getting 65 points.
Look at how Habs fans talk about this era versus that one.
Habs fans, they went all the way to the finals that 1 year.
Yeah.
But they were at war with the management of that Montreal Canadiens group the entire time.
The only thing you can refer to that era as is the Price era. He defined it. He was it. He was the only reason they won on a lot of nights.
And that contract he signed is, I think, just expired last year. He should have still been playing.
Or is it this year?
Yeah, it might be. I don't even know. But it was still pretty active.
Sharks legend.
I thought that was interesting, and I thought that was a little wild. But we also did find out from Freege today that Shane Doan has been requested by the Canucks to speak to him as a potential GM candidate. I think Doan's probably gone with Treliving gone. They were sort of 2 peas in a pod. I don't feel like he's long for Toronto.
He was a special advisor to the GM, and there is no more GM. I'm surprised he's still here.
Yeah. I think that whenever the next person comes in, that will be sort of straightened out. Another thing I want to quickly talk about, unless you got something on Berge in Vancouver, Ryan Johnson is apparently the odds-on favorite, but from what I've heard from somebody that I talked to, there's been a lot of speculative reporting rather than substantive on some of this stuff, and the Canucks are not close. That's what I've heard. Now, I don't know that that's true. I think it's just people are throwing names out there and going, what about this guy? Like we do here.
I'm gonna do an ageism. Dreger, I think, brought up Dale Talon as potentially having a role.
He apparently was going to have the role before Rutherford got it.
What year was Dale Talon born?
He's got to be close to 80, right? So born in the 50s?
Born in the 50.
1950.
1950. That man is 75, and October 19th, which is very early on next season, he will be 76. I'm looking at Mike Gillis going, that's a little old to be applying for a job. This guy's like a decade older. It's crazy.
Shanahan, according to Greg Wyshynski, was not close in New Jersey, although that was reported on, and I think probably sourced by the man himself. It's sort of the same stuff we heard in Buffalo, where he apparently called, offered his services, and Pegula said, he said, I'll be the head of player personnel, and Pegula said, I'm the head of player personnel.
Which ended up being the right call.
Yeah. So that was never a thing. Sonny Meta is going to be the ultimate decision maker in New Jersey. And then on the Leafs stuff, so we've heard some names, and CJ talked about this, Freege has talked about this, but I was listening to the CJ show on the way in, and obviously we've got 3 names that have been really kind of thrown out there. You've got, actually 5. You've got Mike Gillis, obviously, and Dregs had this crazy scoop yesterday where the Leafs actually started talking to Mike Gillis before they fired Treliving, which is wild and brand new news. So good scoop there. Evan Gold from Boston, AGM. Scott White from Dallas, AGM. Ryan Martin from the Rangers. And a lot of people are like, well, why would we want a Rangers guy? He was also a part of the Gorton era.
He was. It's interesting. I don't remember who put the list together, but they're like, he had a part in, and then they listed, it's just a list of the worst trades you've ever seen. But AGMs are so difficult to evaluate because you don't know what the hell they did.
Yeah. Now, 2 more names. Oh, one more name. John Chayka's name is absolutely out there. And that is interesting too.
Sure.
So I don't know to what end, but I mean, we're hearing it from multiple insiders. Now, on the Sundin stuff, I checked in on this, and from what I've heard, there, obviously everybody said there was some sort of discussion. Pelly has wanted this guy involved since Pelly got here. And the rumor is that Mats was at training camp and then went home because he felt some sort of uncomfortable. Because Shanny, there was like a bit of a turf thing with Shanny.
Yeah.
So that's why he wasn't involved a couple of years
I've heard
ago.
those whispers. I don't know what that was about.
I think it was about Shanny protecting his turf and not wanting a Leaf legend to come in because he never, again, Shanny never played for the Leafs. And there is some importance to that, right?
His ego destroyed this team.
Gary Roberts has also been apparently tapped. And I don't know if Gary comes in because, his company has like this, he trains elite athletes. Stamkos goes there, Kadri goes there, kids go there. I don't know if he then becomes a part of like the strength and training, but also I would say that these two guys come in and they form the unofficial standards department.
Standards.
There is, I think that it's fair to say that there have been behind the scenes some standards lacking here.
Yeah.
And that's even when they were good. We all would have said that. What does it mean to be a Toronto Maple Leaf? And I have to ask, and I'm not targeting Matthews here. On another thing, I also think they might be the therapy department. Who does Austin Matthews, captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, have to talk to?
Right. It's obviously, you got your sports psych department and sports science and stuff like that. But
who's been there?
It does help to sometimes talk to someone who's been there. And Matt Sundin was the captain for 9 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were the most successful Leaf teams they've had since the 60s.
Since the damn 60s.
Statistically,
and still are.
Statistically, the greatest run that Toronto had was the Matt Sundin era.
And still are.
What's been reported on and what I can tell you from what I've heard is that nobody's quite sure how this is going to shake out. I feel like here's how it's going to go. It's going to be Gillis as a president, general manager somebody, right? And then if you're bringing Mats in, I don't think the Leafs even know today what Mats would actually quite do, what would be under his purview. But it's important to remember that this guy's got 3 preteen kids back in Sweden, so he can only be here so often unless he actually picks up and moves the kids, across the Atlantic, which I don't know. That seems to be tough.
Maybe. One thing I can do is recommend a book.
Mm-hmm.
Rogers versus Home and Away by Matt Sundin. There is an audiobook. I learned so much about this guy who I grew up idolizing as a kid that I didn't know before. And you can really, in his writing, really get an idea of what the Leafs mean to him. He's not just blowing smoke. I will do a content warning. The first chapter is about his shootout winner against the Leafs. But it's that guy wanted to win here so bad. And you know who this reminds me of a little bit? And obviously we're putting the cart before the horse here. But if the Panthers were ever going to win, which a few years ago looked impossible, you got to remember that. It was only right to have Roberto Luongo be a part of that.
Of course.
If you're ever going to parade around the ice with the Stanley Cup, even if he's in a suit, you got to have him be part of that experience. God, wouldn't it just be a little incomplete if the Leafs were to ever do the thing and Mats isn't there?
Mats and maybe Gary too.
There's a few guys. Now, you can't just surround your front office with former players and everything, but they have none. We talked about the Oilers having too many at one point. The Leafs have an unusual lack of former players working for them in any role. There's McElhaney.
Curtis McElhaney, yeah.
Nick Antropov.
Muzzin.
Jake Muzzin, yeah. But and these guys all have minor roles. They don't run anything.
No. They're there as coaches and things like that.
Right. So they don't have any former players as any kind of decision maker at all. And I think you lose a little bit of something there.
When I've talked to people and former players of the Leafs about the Pat Quinn era, one of the things that they always talk about is Pat Quinn was not an X's and O's guys, and that was a very veteran team. And he would say stuff sometimes that would make the players kind of roll their eyes and laugh. But
Daryl Sutter was the same.
He was a Leaf, and they always respected that, and they loved him. He apparently was just a great guy. But he was a Leaf, and there is some sort of respect for that. And I think, again, let's just have a real honest conversation here. If the Leafs are going to get back to winning with Nylander and Matthews on the team, Matthews needs to get back to scoring 50, and they need to put him in a position to do so.
Yep.
Tell me if you think this is unfair. William Nylander needs to grow up. and be the mature leader that I think now he might want to be. One of the things that I saw that I really liked was when Matthews was out, he went down to the end of the bench and talked to Carlo and Riley about something and was like, hey, next time let's do blah, blah, blah. He started wearing a letter at the end of the year. After he flipped off the camera.
I think he was embarrassed about the way things worked out. I think he was embarrassed. Like just about how this season ended. We had a conversation earlier in the show about Kasperi Kapanen. And the best thing for his NHL career was he got over himself a little bit. With Willie, you take the good with the bad, and there's so much more good than bad that you ignore it. There is a top 10 winger in this league in there, if he would just allow it. We've seen it. We've seen him do it. There's a reason he makes what he does, is because there was a time, 24? Was it at the beginning of last year? No, Sheldon Keefe was still the coach. 2 years ago, you're like, that's one of the best players in the league.
And that's why he got the extension.
And he did it for over a month. And that's why he got that extension. He has more to give. Now, I don't remember if I talked about this last show, but, I was hammering the Leafs because there was locker cleanout and everything. We were hammering the Leafs for their response to the Matthews stuff. And the question I got from a couple people is, all right, we don't know how Austin necessarily feels about how his team responded. But the question is, if something happened to one of the Leafs with Austin on the ice, would he do that for them? We all know the answer. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't lift a finger. We've seen him do it 100 times. There was an example earlier this season that got brought up. I think it was his second game. Cowan gets run over. Matthews is there, arm up in the air, looking for a call, just like Willie did when he got hit by Gudas. Willie going, oh, I didn't see it. Oh, arm in the air. That is a dog problem.
Look what Hagel did yesterday with Slafkovsky.
Can you imagine? Can you friggin' imagine?
When I watched that, I was like, no Leaf would do that.
In my wildest dreams, I couldn't imagine that. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about culture. Matthews needs to get back to scoring 50 plus. Absolutely. I want to see Willie become what we've seen him be on a consistent basis. But there's a what you're willing to do to win issue with this team. And it goes beyond talent, and it goes beyond the way this team is run.
Jesse, do you think having an august figure like Matt Sundin hanging around can elevate players that have been in the league for 10 plus years?
I do think it's the right way to go about things, but I feel like it is an endeavor that won't bear any fruit because both these players have been in this organization for over a decade. They're 30-year-old men now. Well, Willie's 29, so almost 30-year-old men, each of them. They are what they are, and I don't think Matts or anybody in that organization can invent these guys into playing like Brandon Hagel.
And maybe he doesn't have to be Hagel.
That's a massive issue.
But does it have to be Hagel, or could it be like, let's think, there are skilled wingers that don't back down and stand up for people, and maybe they're not great at it.
Barkov? Can you give me Barkov?
Like, you got to understand who you're asking to get this out of them. It's William Nylander.
At least
you know who William Nylander is. If your hope is that he's all of a sudden somebody else, that's not happening.
Yeah, and this is where it becomes a difficult discussion, Jesse, because I think you bring in a guy like Matts, who was very physical. He also had 3 guys hanging off him all game. Gary Roberts, extremely physical. And there was a standard on that team that was, that was the way it was built. It was built to be physical. But there was a standard on that team that they always stood up for each other. That's why those guys are still so beloved.
Yes, but everything you're saying, the guy who you're describing who should have got it out of them, if anybody was going to fix this, it was Craig Berube, the guy who made an NHL career being the exact player you want these guys to be in terms of mentality. He didn't have the skill, but he had that.
Yeah.
And even today, Craig Berube is a scary human being when you're standing next to him. And if William Nylander took Craig Berube for practices over the last 2 seasons, is just laughing in his face, pushing him around, not listening to him. If Craig Berube wasn't the guy to do it, why do you think the next guy is going to be the guy to do it? Who has a better resume about being a tough guy in the NHL than Craig Berube?
So then it's got to come from inside.
It's got to come from them. Nobody externally is going to do it because so many people have been through this organization to get them to do it.
I think we're being clubbed over the head with the answer, and none of us want to admit it. I will say this, and I've never sounded older than I'm about to, but like that moment with Willie, like holding up the ear and
to Berube,
yeah. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's fun, that's fun, that's fun," and it is fun. Fun takes two.
Mm-hmm.
Berube wasn't fucking kidding.
I don't think he's ever kidding.
No, and maybe that's a problem because you can't be that all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe there's a little bit of give and take. But sometimes at work, and they're working, I need you to put on a serious face. I'm not fucking joking.
Mm-hmm.
Willie, we fucking suck, bud. We're trying to figure this out here, and I'm not kidding. You scored a goal that you feel proud about. Get back in fucking line and do it again.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, Jesus, Steve, like that's real hard ass. But I hate to do this. One day you'll get it. One day you'll get it.
Well, I mean, you gotta like, we see it every year and we're seeing it this year.
Yeah.
There are teams that have dogs and teams that don't.
You know, I made little mistakes. Anyone around sports media knows. No, I'm not even going to name him. I had a boss that was known as a real hard boss. And I made little fuck ups as a young man around this guy all the time. And they were, in the grand scheme of things, little. They weren't catastrophic. They weren't the sort of thing that would, we got to redo the entire show or whatever. But I would be like, what's the big deal? And he's like, oh, it's fine. You know, you'll be doing radio in Orangeville, but you'll be fine. He said that. And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, fuck you, man. And I got older and I'm like, fuck. Like, there's nothing worse than, oh man, that guy was riding me. What an asshole. And you get older and you're like, fuck, he was right.
Standards.
Details. He was trying to, maybe you could say it was in a dickish way. Maybe. But he's trying to get better out of me, and God damn it, he did. Kicking and screaming. He didn't need to go to the lengths that he did for me, but he did because he cared. He got his paycheck no matter what. He was doing.
Yeah, he could have left you to your own devices. It didn't matter to him.
He could have let me do a shitty job and let me be shitty and fizzle out of this industry. He wouldn't let me do that. And it was a kindness he gave me at the time that I did not interpret that way. Now, we're talking about an NHL head coach and an NHL superstar. We're not talking about the same thing, but we kind of are. The margins in this league are so razor thin. You know, there was a podcast clip that came out yesterday of Matthew Tkachuk talking about identifying at the beginning of a playoff series with the Panthers, who's the head of the snake.
I loved that clip. That was the best clip they've ever had. That was great.
Standards. You're talking about going up against that, and you're having a happy-go-free, fun time. They're gonna kill you nearly every time. You might win one. You might get them every now and then.
You might get to game 7.
You might push them to 7. And when you get there, I promise you, they will dog walk you. And they have every single time, William. Oh, well, his number's over the... Yep. Here's a number. Second round, twice. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Standards. And you watch the playoffs, and this is why it drives me fucking nuts when players talk about not watching the playoffs when they're not in it. You are watching the standard go up around the league every single night.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
It's game 1. is crazier than game 82. Game 2 is crazier than game 1. Game 3 is crazier than game 2. And then it all resets in round 2. And game 1 of round 2 is crazier than game 7 of round 1. Standards, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
And at some point, when do you make the decision to stop begging?
Well, this is the thing. I think whoever comes in here needs to understand the position they're stepping into.
Sorry.
What's going on?
There's a raccoon climbing up just outside the window. I got so distracted. I was like, wow, that squirrel is huge.
Show must go on.
That's a That's a
Steven.
mini bear.
That is a mini bear.
He's fat.
He's coming out of hibernation. That raccoon is friggin' huge.
That's a thick boy.
Damn. Adam's right. Adam's right. Imagine if I was on Hockey Night going, look at that raccoon. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I want to say
there's a reason you're on the internet there, podcast boy.
Whoever steps in here, and if Sundin and Roberts are indeed a part of it, and I hope they are, I hope that the conversation is get on board, guys, or get out. Pick a city. And I think that whatever this Leafs management group does ultimately do, they can't do what they did this year. They got to move quickly. Find out what you have. And if you don't have it, like the worst mistake you can make is a slow one. If you're gonna fail quickly, move on. And they're gonna need to know. And I think by the time 2026 moves into 2027, we're gonna know a lot about the next 5 years. We don't know a lot about the next 5 years, but I think by the end of this year, we're gonna know a lot about how the next 5 years of Maple Leaf hockey is gonna look. Is this a retool really, or is it a full rebuild? And we will probably know.
There's going to be times in your life where someone is being an asshole to you. And I think it's important. It's important to evaluate, but are they also doing me a favor?
I don't think people should just be assholes.
I agree. I agree.
Or maybe they're seeing more of your weaknesses than you'd like.
Totally. There's different management styles now, but that's not something to get into. The one time I saw William Nylander be the player I want him to be consistently is when he was yelling at Mitch Marner that it's not fucking junior, bro, stop crying. That was a William Nylander that is the one that should be every single night. And that play came off of him taking control of a situation where he didn't run the exact play that was supposed to be run off the faceoff dot. He said, I have a shot here. I'm going to take control of this and shoot the puck. And it didn't lead directly to a goal. It didn't even lead to a win for the Leafs. But that sort of passion out of Willie has been seen once in his entire tenure as a Leaf. And I wish it would have been shown more. There's a lot of wish casting in this conversation that the guys who are coming in can get that out of these Leafs players, but I gotta just believe the evidence that's in front of me and who they've been, and just be like, until you prove to me you are not those people, I just have to take what the Leafs are as they have been for this entire era.
And that is the most correct take. How could you possibly hope at this point to hope for more?
Yeah.
Right?
A Craig Berube coach team couldn't find it in them to stand up for their captain after Radko, you're so lame Gudis, knocked him out. And like that, if nobody can get this out of this team in that moment, I don't know. I don't think they have it.
Radko did have a really bad fall the other day, and the Edmonton Oilers were able to score on the 2-on-1. So there was a little bit of karmic justice there.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, the camera's on me.
All right, we'll leave it there.
I wasn't talking. That's interesting.
We will be back tomorrow, by the way. And then we're back to Monday, Wednesday, Fridays as of next week. But tomorrow we will.
Who knows? The week after that, we could be like, oh, we're in Tuesday.
You know what?
Victoria Day is coming up. It might just go Tuesday. Who knows?
Mysterious.
Yeah. Just watch out. Podcast any day.
Anytime. Yeah. All right. We'll see you then. Anything else you guys want to hit before Jesse hit the button? What are we doing?
Yeah, keep up with our streams. They're all the time. sdpn.ca/schedule. Link is in the description too. You find it there. Keep up with your bracket. The bracket challenge is going. We're going to get some answers soon about who gets the most points.
It's going to be me.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.